John McDowell Stuart named it after a friend who assisted him with his epic journey across the continent. The Aborigines have their own name for the Finke. They call it Larapinta, or permanent water. The ground is dry and cracked, but the vegetation bears witness to an earlier abundance of water. Now there's a scene Stuart and the Aborigines couldn't have envisaged.
When the early explorers were pushing their way inland, their expeditions often dragged on much longer than they planned, and they often had to rely on whatever food they could find in the desert to survive. Their first tracks had become modern highways, but if they retrace their steps today, it seems they could survive by collecting and selling garbage. Times have sure changed.
Back near the highway, you wonder how anything can survive in this barren land. Walking in 30-degree heat, with rubbish on your back and blowies all over you, is quite a humbling experience. It also made Nick feel pretty bitter about some of his fellow Australians.
All this rubbish may not cause cancer or leave residual chemicals in the environment, but it's got to be a pretty good illustration of the lack of respect some Australians have for their country. Instead of a Fargo, we should have brought a semi. After picking up so many bottles and cans day after day, I felt pretty bitter towards these people. But the most frustrating thing about it all was that we had to leave so much rubbish behind, and to think the road isn't even a year old.
The good news is that Phil and Nick are now well on the way to covering the $460 they had to find to start the trip. There'll be time to catch a glimpse of one of Australia's most famous landmarks. Despite recovering some of their costs for the trip, money was still tight. So the only way to see the famous Olgas and Ayers Rock was to hitch a ride. After all, they couldn't come this far and miss the Red Centre's main attractions. A couple of English tourists did their bit to help the fellas get there.
There you go.
Good. Where you going?
Down the Olgas, mate.
Get in.
Sit on you. Hot and dusty?
All right in the back?
Fine.
The timeless grandeur of the Olgas, a bizarre cluster of soaring domes, the highest of which rises almost 550 metres. The Aborigines call it Katajuta, the many-headed one. These bizarre monoliths, like their famous counterpart, Ayers Rock, officially renamed Uluru, just 27 kilometres away, date back perhaps 1,000 or even 2,000 million years. It's fair to say few parts of the Earth's surface are known to be older than this. It was really only a hop, step and a jump to watch the sun set over one of the best-known symbols of Australia.